This webinar is recorded today, and it's part of the New Paradigm Leadership Educational Series brought to you by Workplace Peace Institute. Today's topic is about emotional intelligence in the age of artificial intelligence. The leadership development courses are designed to optimize competencies in human behavior and communication skills and conflict resolution and diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging to create this highly engaged workplaces where basic human needs and dignity are consistently being honored. We're singularly focused on supporting leaders and creating workplace cultures where all people thrive. I'm your presenter today, Dara Rossi, and there are a whole lot of words on this slide. I'm not used to introducing myself and reading this big bio, but I want to share a couple of things with you. So first of all, I am a Workplace Peace Institute Leadership Academy instructor. I'm an ICF credentialed coach, and I have a master's degree in business administration and dispute resolution. I'm currently serving as the president-elect on the board of International Coaching Federation of North Texas. And right now I'm an executive and leadership development coach, and I work with both established leaders and emerging leaders as well. In addition to my coaching and my consulting work, I teach graduate level coaching courses, executive leadership coaching courses. And I really enjoy facilitating and training and development programs. I really am jazzed by this work because I love to help individuals and teams both cultivate skills and implement behaviors that support their success and fulfillment. So I'm delighted to be here and share what I think many others believe is very important topic. And that's considering emotional intelligence as a key component in our lives and businesses with the explosive growth of artificial intelligence, or AI. In today's learning journey, there are three big buckets that I really would like to focus on. The first is the benefits and concerns around artificial intelligence. And then I want to talk about the importance of emotional intelligence during this age where AI is so explosive. And then finally, I'd like to talk about systematic intelligence, sometimes referred to as three brains. So stay tuned for that. So let's start first with AI. Let's start with artificial intelligence and talk about that for a bit before we move on to emotional intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a bit of a misnomer in that the technology is neither artificial nor intelligent. Mr. Rahim from the Kellogg School at Northwestern University wrote that, and I think it's important to understand that. He goes further to talk about how AI takes human inputs and manipulates them to, well, really based on probability. And then AI is trained on these gigantic quantities of human data and further fine-tuned by small armies of workers to get some sort of usable source. AI is not intelligent either because we know that it can't think, not in any meaningful way. It's not innovative. It doesn't have emotional intelligence, and it cannot read facial expressions or truly recognize how someone is reacting to their emotions. And it also cannot adapt quickly to new situations, meaning it can't think on its feet like humans can. So let's look further and just dive a little deeper about AI. And what I'd like to do is talk about it in terms of current state, and then maybe some of the benefits and concerns that are circulating around AI. So if we look at the current state of AI, we are just technology in general, we know that technology is everywhere and it's advancing like crazy. There are increased automations everywhere, and machine learning is constant. Some of these tools make our lives easier. And you may have experienced some of that. And some of them may have the potential to be a detriment, such as causing the loss of jobs because of this automation I just mentioned. Now, whether you love it or you hate it or you're excited about it or you're uneasy or even ambivalent, AI is now evolving publicly at a skyrocketing pace. And it's going to continue to become a part of our everyday lives and our work in ways that I don't think really any of us know about yet. We know that AI is currently utilized by businesses and by individuals, and have to assume some of those individuals and businesses could be thieves, they could be scammers and foreign governments, and they might be utilizing our information in ways that we don't really want them to. Most of it, which is usually deceptive or untrustworthy. So let's talk about some of the AI probably everybody listening to this has heard of, and that's Chat GPT, which is referred to as a generative AI. And that exploded probably around the fall of 2022 is when that really became more of a household word, so to speak. So let's talk about a minute about what generative AI means. And it means that this AI produces, the generative AI produces various content, including text or images, which you may have seen of those, or audio or synthetic data. Well, you say, wait a minute, what's synthetic data? That's really data that is created with algorithms. And it's used as a stand-in for test data and sets like in production or operational data that really help validate mathematical models. And it also trains machine learning models. Okay, you may be thinking, what is machine learning? And you may already know what that is. But for those if you don't, it's I think I said machine learning and intelligence because I said that artificial intelligence is not really intelligent. So how can a machine learn? Well, machine learning is this branch of AI, and it's the intersection of, I think, artificial intelligence, I think computer science as well. And it focuses on the use of data and algorithms to imitate the way humans learn, gradually improving its accuracy. Okay, so vocabulary lesson over. Let's move on now. So back to Chat GPT. Chat GPT. Okay, one more vocabulary. Let me explain just for a minute what ChatGPT is in terms of what it stands for. So ChatGPT stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Ah, that's a lot, right? But really, it can process our natural human language and generate a response. So this is generative in nature. Now, it has the potential to change our daily lives personally and how we work. And if you're using the technology, you probably are all using it a little bit differently because by that I mean it's got to fit our needs, right? And our trust level determines how we use this technology, and that all affects on what we're doing with it. So, for example, when thinking about a topic that you want to write about, you can feed information into ChatGPT about your topic. You can talk to it about your writing styles and the role that you're currently in, and then ask ChatGPT for an outline. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes it will provide you perfectly good information that you can tweak a little bit and use. And sometimes it gives you nothing you can use. So you have to be very careful with it. And sometimes only part of it can be used. So you really have to look at what it spits out and see and keep using it till you get comfortable and in ways that feel good for you. I use ChatGTP, for example, in crafting emails. I recently wrote a very difficult email and it just didn't sound quite right. I think I was missing a few things. I don't think I made all the points that I really wanted to and frankly that I needed to. So I took that email, copied the whole thing, and put it into Chat GPT, and then asked the tool to rewrite this email with a particular style and a particular voice. And with a few edits to what Chat GPT came up with, that's just a mouthful. I was really satisfied with the email, and I think it was a better correspondence than my original. AI and its ability to transform the modern economy is real, is very, very real. It's not an exaggeration to say that AI tools like ChatGPT literally grow in power in every passing hour, and each step forward makes their functionality even more all-encompassing, and we see more and more of it. So let's take an example of that and look at one particular area where AI is being used, and that is in HR. I was reading an article, I believe it was in the New York Times, about how AI will change HR jobs, and it has the potential to change how people are hired and potentially fired. So let's look at some numbers, some big numbers. So 65% of recruiters say that they're currently using AI in the recruitment process. It's a big number. 79% of recruiters believe AI will advance enough to make hiring and firing decisions soon. Should be just a little bit alarming. And then finally, the last big number is that 96% of senior HR professionals expect AI to greatly enhance the talent acquisition process. So, why is HR using this tool? Well, they're using it because in recruiting, because it reduces the hiring cost of up to 30%. And unless you've been under a rock somewhere, you know that there is this churn of people in the workforce. And so it's not only saving money, it's also a time saving tool. And it can evaluate job applicants better than humans. That's the thinking. I don't know, but that really alarms me too, that they think that this tool will be better than humans. So if you consider AI as being used for the hiring process, it inherently, and I think absolutely, loses some of those nuances that come with the human element. The function of technology is based on algorithms. I talked about that earlier, which are basically rules. And because of this, there exists this potential for, I think, entire groups of candidates to be disregarded. But remember, AI is being used by individuals as well as organizations. So by potential candidates, they might manipulate a resume and a skill set to better position themselves when they're looking at the job qualification list. And so, for example, if a candidate could use AI to determine the best possible keywords or phrases when they were applying for a specific position, they're trying to beat the algorithm. Well, they're also beating other folks who didn't use AI to get their resume and cover letter to align with that. So they're really trying to beat the system, and if you can't beat it, join it, I guess. So they're using this tool as well. So I think that muddies up how applicants are hired. Now, I'll tell you why, because I was reading also in the New York Times an article about the abundance of lawsuits that have already started because it's coming up around this anti-discrimination law. And in the article, it was talking about Apple credit card, and they're under investigation for gender discrimination complaints. So there was this husband and wife who both had an Apple credit card, and the wife requested a credit limit increase. She wanted a higher credit limit. Now, she had a higher credit score, and she had other factors in her favor, several of them, but her credit limit was denied. Now, her husband, on the other hand, had a credit line that was 20 times higher than his wife's. So we're seeing discrimination based on the use of AI in decision making. It's not always, well, let me rephrase that. It's not competent at decision making. We have to be the ones to use the information to make decisions. So we can choose to let the machines make the bulk of the decisions around very important topics like healthcare and education, defense, or we can choose to keep the humans at the helm with human values and priorities at the forefront every day. And I vote for that one. If you think about flying and you get on a plane, I bet if you're like me, you're hoping there's a pilot or two up there in the cockpit. Because see, here's the thing, that 90% of what pilots do, their responsibilities, can be automated. But the FAA, along with me and probably you and most human beings, still want to put a well-trained pilot in the cockpit so that they can fly manually. They can take over in case things go awry. So let's think about that and move into talking about emotional intelligence. Because the main point of this webinar is not about the benefits of AI. There are some, and it's not about the concerns, because there's some as well, but it's about the importance of emotional intelligence in this age of AI. So as a refresher, emotional intelligence really refers to the ability to understand, to manage, and to navigate your own emotions, as well as, and maybe more importantly, the ability to understand and influence others' emotions to help with that connections, the connections with each other. Emotional intelligence is widely recognized as an important and very valuable skill for many reasons, not only personally but professionally. But thinking professionally, the top three that pop into my head and come to mind are improving performance and improving communication, particularly effective communication, and then really helping us build those strong relationships. So what? Well, our lives are really built around emotions. We are emotional first, and then thinking being second. So emotions affect not only how we feel, but more importantly, how we behave. AI is void of any emotional intelligence, and it surely doesn't help us consider how to act effectively. And so, as AI, I mean, sorry, as yes, AI in general and technology in general continue to advance, the human ability to understand and manage emotions becomes increasingly valuable for various aspects of our life, and human connection becomes even more essential. So, I want to double click for a minute down into some of the importances around AI, and have several listed here, and I just want to share those with you. I mentioned effective communication on the previous slide, and that's really enabling humans and individuals to express themselves clearly and to understand emotions behind others' communications, which helps both on a personal and a professional level with interactions. I think these next two that I have up here go together. So interpersonal relationships. People with high emotional intelligence tend to form stronger and healthier relationships. They can empathize with others, they can build trust, they can navigate social dynamics effectively. I don't think computers can navigate social dynamics yet. And then leadership, emotional intelligence is a key component, I think, of effective leadership. And the reason I think so is because leaders who understand and connect with their emotions of their team members, they're more likely to be trusted to motivate others, and I think lead with empathy. And the benefit of leading with empathy is that executives can acknowledge that, yes, the power of this technology could threaten our jobs, but by working together, companies and their stakeholders can really figure out how to best adapt. And working together gives them a better advantage, I think, instead of going alone, right? And the more knowledge that is outsourced, the more that I think we're going to look for humanity and this connectedness that we so desire. So teamwork and collaboration. In collaborative environments, emotional intelligence tends to promote teamwork. Individuals who can understand and respect the emotions of other team members contribute to a positive and productive team dynamic. When we're working together on, say, a big, juicy project or problem, there's this magic that can happen in this creative collaboration where the energy that exists between the people being in this sticky situation finally reach some solution or a potential solution. And then conflict resolution is another area that emotional intelligence can really help with, because individuals with emotional intelligence can then handle conflict more constructively. They're better equipped to manage their own emotions during conflicts and understand the perspectives of others, which lead to more successful resolutions to those conflicts. Customer service is a big area where emotional intelligence, I think, is key, and that's because it involves customer interactions. That emotional intelligence has got to be essential in understanding and responding to emotions of customers can lead to better customer satisfaction and more loyalty. Have you ever wanted to scream, or maybe you have screamed, that's me, at a chat bot or some other technology in customer service, when you're connected? Often I find those bots answer the wrong question, or they have a very limited response, or they don't make sense, and it can be a big waste of time. So having emotional intelligence and a human being to speak to is much, much more beneficial. And then the last one I want to address is empathetic creativity and curiosity. So, as a professor at SMU, I had a wonderful experience of teaching a class called Human Centered Design. And we used an outline from IDEO, which is a very large and well respected firm. They design everything from, I think, the very first computer mouse for Apple back in the 80s, big hair days, to a full school system for Peru, and even a wearable breast pump. And the list goes on and on and on. And the reason I share about this company is because their design always starts with empathy when they're designing for someone. Now, AI is neither empathetic or curious. Some might say it's creative, but based on only the information that humans can provide it. That human factor does not go away when we're using empathy and curiosity and creativity. Daniel Pink, an author and very prolific on social media, proposed that leadership is about empathy. It's about having the ability to relate and to connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. And that was from his book, A Whole New Mind. Some recent research shows that highly emotional, intelligent people ultimately have more effective interactions with others. They build stronger connections and relationships. And if you're a leader, emotional intelligence is even more impactful because leadership is mainly about engaging with human relations. So then leadership at its core is really about emotions, because we know emotions are in the driver's seat. There's no doubt that AI may excel at processes and processing data and performing tasks and automations, but it lacks the ability to understand and respond to human emotions, and basically it does nothing to build vital connections. Now, you might have seen or heard about our little fuzzy red friend from Sesame Street named Elmo, who he recently tweeted the question, "How is everybody doing?" Short question. And in less than 48 hours, the post received over 12,000 replies and over 100,000 likes. And it was reposted something like, I don't know, 60, 70,000 times. And it was #1 trending post. Mark Brackett, who created this mood meter, it's an app, and he also wrote a book called Permission to Feel. He's an expert in emotions, says that this one simple question, how are you doing? We ask it, but then we don't really want to know the answer. But here's the deal. If you ask it and you really, really listen to what they're saying, people will answer you. This is the idea behind building a deep connection. And there's research to back this up. This is from Gallup, and they found that employees they especially valued communication for managers who were interested in what was going on outside their lives. It's that connection. So you know what I say? I say, be more like Elmo. I love that. I'm going to have shirts made. Make people feel valued in the workplace. Check in, ask how they're doing, and then really, really, really listen. There's some companies out there that are touting the benefits of AI for improving well-being. I read several of those posts and articles. But guess what? The companies that are really praising the benefits are the companies that are selling the software to organizations. So until there's more research, I'm a disbeliever in that. I don't think that AI can achieve any meaningful full value or full level of well-being or connectedness. And here's the last piece that I want to talk about, and this is the three brains that I was talking about earlier. And this is the power of your systematic intelligence. And it's time for another vocabulary lesson. Sorry about that. But when I'm talking about the systematic intelligence, I'm really referring to your head, your heart, and your gut. The brain being rational, the heart being emotions, and the gut being intuition. And so as you can see here on the slide, the brain is responsible for critical thinking and problem solving, right? And it's where we do predicting and judging happens, basically. And then if you move over to the heart is it's about bonding and belonging and connection that we've been talking about. It's also where self-sacrifice is centered, and passion and hate and guilt and some other emotions like that are really connected. And then finally, there's the gut, and that's about safety and intuition. It's also about winning, and it's about fear and anger. Those are all emotions that are connected with the gut. And it can be seen, for example, thinking about the gut, if some people get really upset, they get angry, very, very angry, and they can't eat. They feel it in their whole midsection. They have no appetite. They're just too distressed. That doesn't happen to me. Unfortunately, I get angry or upset and I want to eat. So everybody handles it a little bit differently, but that intuition and that fear and anger are all a part of the gut. And over the past about 3 decades, I think, a large body of research around decision making has provided insight that not merely is about cognition, it's also about emotions and intuition. All of those help assist with this decision making. I'm not going to geek out about anatomy and physiology about the body, but I'm going to tell you that the research shows that both the gut and the heart neural systems are present in complex processing, obviously along with the brain there. Leadership decision making, I think, it's complex, right? And this research showed that when making these very complex decisions, the use of the head, the heart, and the gut led to wiser decisions and more effective decisions as well. A group of researchers that were researching these three brains, if you will, noted that the complex times require complex leaders capable of using their head, their heart, and their guts as situations demand. I think we're in complex times for many reasons, but AI surely adds on to this complexity. We cannot leave human intelligence and emotional intelligence out of the equation. As a matter of fact, I firmly believe they are more important now than they ever were. If you'd like to learn more about emotional intelligence and the importance of emotional intelligence at a deeper level, then you could take a course that we have at Work Peace Institute, and it'll help you learn how to develop it within yourself and how you can develop your social emotional intelligence that will help you as a leader in connecting with others. This is a self-paced online course, and the topic is called Social and Emotional Intelligence. Another course offered by Workplace Peace Institute is Dignity Intelligence. And this course really is ideal for existing leaders or emerging leaders and all of human resource professionals. And that could come into play as more AI is used in HR. But it's designed really to help you learn how to connect dignity intelligence to trustworthiness and to learn strategies to support respectful relationships. Again, back to connectedness that we're so inherently crave. And you can find the courses I just mentioned and other courses to help you develop your new leadership competencies by going to Workplace Peace Institute website or by scanning this QR code on this slide. Thank you so much for watching this webinar today. And I hope you continue to use your emotional intelligence in this time and age of artificial intelligence. Thank you.